What's going on, podcast listening people? Happy Monday to you. Monday today is for the mentors, and I got a great podcast for you. Make sure you do a tiny favor. First off, if you like B2B mentors, you want to check out past episodes, go find us on all your favorite podcast apps, especially please go to iTunes, leave a 5-star review so others can find the show too. You can find us wherever you like to listen. Make sure you check out our partners at activeblogs.com. If your blogs, newsletters, LinkedIn content are just taking too much of your time, not getting done consistently, or just not getting done at all, go check out our partners at activeblogs.com for a no-cost consultation. Also, during this live stream, please, if you're watching this, share this out. If you get any value, I know you will. We're always here bringing you fire information for free. This is no cost to you guys except for your time. I'm going to bring my guest up today, Joshua Gumbiner, actually a homie of mine, part of our mastermind group together. Joshua advises publicly traded and privately held corporations by providing video marketing services, product distribution services, strategic development, advising, and more. Currently, Joshua is advising on manufacturing opportunities and cannabis related ventures, big space. You know, I'm from Colorado. I know this well. Working with MSOs, providing value added solutions without rewriting their corporate business model. So with that, I'm going to bring up the man, Joshua. What's going on, bro? Happy Monday to you.
Happy Monday. Thanks for
We're
having me.
about to have a party tonight, huh?
Oh yeah, I'm ready. I'm looking forward to it.
It's going to be a good time. See, this is cool because a lot of our guests, it's like, you know, some of them I have relationships with, but we've been, you know,
oh man,
intimately working and strategizing together for the past 90 days. And it's just crazy that's gone by like this. I know my life's been changed. I imagine the same for you. And man, there's a lot to dive into, especially your story, which I think is extremely inspiring. I think is extremely important for people to hear. Because I mean, you have gone through so much adversity over the past, even just your whole life, but the last year especially. So I want to dive into that, but I want to give you a chance too, outside of the very humble bio you provided for me. You want to share a little bit more about, you know, what led you to where you're at in your life and your career today?
Yeah. I mean, thank you. I don't know if I can say it any better. You know, COVID came around, and at that point in time, I had been a business owner for 10 years in the state of Iowa. And during that time, I had served companies that were at the national level. So when COVID came around, our business just dropped immediately. I mean, 90% revenue decline, and it never came back. Thankfully, though, at that time, I had a business partner who had said, hey, do you want to take some of your relationships and give them to an American manufacturer to provide personal protective equipment? And I said, yeah. Oh my God.
What was your business prior? What was your business before?
Yeah. So we did property management. So we would manage anything from snow removal, lawn care, you know, ice control services, like everything outdoors, whatever it was, it didn't matter. And I took that and went into what you see today, which is insane to say the least. It's a whirlwind. The last year and a half has been crazy, but I've been through some highs and some very extreme lows, and I came up, you know, floating on top of the water and took off from there. So,
what were some of the steps into your professional life from, you know, younger to into the professional world?
Yeah. So honestly, I've always felt like I was an entrepreneur. I mean, I kid you not, going around like mowing lawns when I was, you know, like 12, 13, 14 years old. Crazy story. I lived by Drake University in Des Moines, Iowa. A lot of people know them for their law school. I lived a few blocks from there. And when the Drake relays came around, cars needed parked. So my mother went to work and we parked cars in our yard. And it would have been a fantastic idea because, you know, we were teenagers and she'll never figure it out. They'll be gone by the time she gets home. So that was one false thing because they were not gone by the time she got home. And then it rained while there were cars in our back. It was a total nightmare. Ruined the lawn in places, but those were the kind of things I did as a kid. And so I had always felt like I was an entrepreneur. What was I destined to do? At the time, I was like, I'm just going to own my own business. I didn't know any better. I was just like, that's what you do. So I owned my own business, and owning my own business is the best and worst thing that's ever happened to me. The best because I'm here where I am today, and the worst because who the hell wants to go through the heartaches, the anxieties, the I can't pay this, oh my gosh, the love and support I've had throughout that, just from people I've met, is what got me where I am today. Whether it's people that have worked with me, or people who have just understood where I was at and recommended my name, as a good service. So it's hard and it's not for everybody, but I've always felt like it was for me.
Not many number of folks have been through tough times in their life, very dark times that you think, dude, I'll never make it out of this alive. Like I'm not going to survive this period of my life. This is pretty much the end all be all, especially this last year, but pretty much that's life in general. So what was it? What was that, dark moment of yours that's so inspiring that we as a mastermind group keep referring back to, and dive into that a little bit. Let's jump right into it.
Thanks. It's definitely something hard to talk about.
And that's what makes it important. Am I right?
You're so right. I've had so much positive feedback. So thank you for giving me the platform to do it. It allows me to work on myself getting through it as well. So thank you. Okay, so business declined in March, 90-some%. And as a business owner, I was faced with an oh shit moment. What do I do? This is drastic. There's major arterial bleeding here. And I made calls to every person I was working with, and I said, is there anything we can do? Talk to me about your situation. Because at the end of the day, the only thing that needed covered was the business expenses. And if anybody works for you, with you, whatever, them as well. So as long as your lights are on, you're eating, that's what matters. Can we work that out, guys? And nobody was even in that position. There were national companies of rental properties and office buildings, and it happened to them. We also serviced the United States Postal Service. It happened to them. Fast food chains. I wanted to work with the people I've been working with for years. And they said, can you do this? And it was just something I'd never seen in my life. It didn't come close to covering costs. And they said, that's because, Joshua, we're having like 25% of business. So we all were hit, and the opportunity came to switch. So when my business partner, who I'd known at that time for 6 years, said,
when you say switch, you mean switch to the business you're in?
Yeah. So I go from providing services, for property management, to really relationship managing, connecting, advising on areas that I've been through and have succeeded in. I really took a left turn. So what happened was, to take that left turn, usually in business, I've never met somebody who has gotten there without lumps along the way. And when we all talk, they're usually the same. They're financial, they're interpersonal, they're, anything that you can have wrong, we've all been through. So I say, sure, let me turn over my book of clients to you. Let me also reach more. And my very first connection was the state of Iowa, which is where I'm from. The state of Iowa ended up transacting with this manufacturer for over $13 million. Well, first and foremost, that's the single largest payday I've ever gained by work I've done. It should have been about $1.3+ million. So what happened was, though, I provided them so many clients in such a short time because the need was real. So I gave them AAA clients, I mean, diamond style clients, the best of the best, pieces of the federal government, other states that have transacted, privately held entities. And so it's in the court system currently. I have been paid not even 1% of what I'm owed. And because of that, I couldn't pay my obligations. So I didn't get paid for over a year, less than 1% of what I'm owed. And about 9 months in, my money ran out. My 10 years worth of work is gone. And it was hard at the time because, to be honest with you, there was a period of time where I enjoyed it for a long stretch, and then there towards the end, it was just like, I don't know if this is me anymore. But in all reality, the building process, the things that I've learned, the people that I've been able to meet, all of that together meant a lot to me, and so it hurt to lose that. I took a video of my daughter on the pieces of equipment we had the day we sold them. And I still have that today because I love it. And at the same time, it's a hard lesson for me that it's okay to let go, because to let go and move on is the only way I would be able to move up. And I understood that, but it was very hard. It was my first time, and it was over 10 years of my life given.
Clarify a bit more in detail. What had actually happened there?
Yeah. So during this point in time, it was kind of a domino effect. It was just like everyone in the world. You can't pay your living expenses. You can't pay your phone expenses, your internet, everything you have. I have a vehicle that's like 80% paid off. I couldn't make the payment, and it's only a few years old. I'm so proud of the things I've accomplished. And then all of a sudden you can't pay these things. Some of these obligations don't want to work with you because they're hurting and bleeding as bad as you are. And you're told that's it. For example, our living situation came to that. We filed the CDC declaration like we were advised to do because we sought out legal counsel to get advice on our situation because we were new to it. They said, file this with your property management. And I said, great. Filed it with them. From that point forward, it started a series of poor interactions.
The deal was, just to clarify, because you kind of glazed over an important piece of information here.
Oh,
you had brought in a bunch of business and you weren't getting paid on it.
Okay, yeah, I'm sorry. That is actually what caused this at that point in time to happen. So I brought in so much business at one point in time that I didn't have enough lead time to see that I was getting paid. So I took my business partner's word for it because I've always been paid, and we've been to a few events together, and he's treated me well and my family well. So there was no reason to expect that this man would not pay. I gave them 20 plus transactions with real consumers who were begging the world. One of them was on CNN, begging the world for help. And so I was like, call the guy, right? It was so simple to me. Call the guy. I called the guy, set him up. They've transacted since. I check up on them. I ask. They tell me. And I mean, you're talking years plus worth of work. I mean, whether it's 10, 20, 30, 50, I mean, they have satellite offices everywhere. $12 million, who knows? But a lot. A month. And so because I did that, I put myself in a position where I was inexperienced. I was trusting of people who I thought I could trust. And so I blindly walked into something that I knew would propel me faster than anything I've ever seen. So some critical thinking more than likely went out the window. And because of that, it put me in a position to be in a courthouse twice, letting a court know why I haven't paid my obligations for the first time. And then it turned into worse because it wasn't just them, it was everybody. It was Chrysler, and you know what? Chrysler's been really good to us. And so I do commend them for what they've done. Chrysler bent a lot for us. But there are some partners who just had to stick to what they had to stick to. So I went through some very hard times of keeping the lights on, the roof over our head. And as a father, I just felt like the lowest of the low. Previous to that Christmas, I'm thankful for a good friend and business partner I have named Adam Selkin, which we've actually transacted on business here recently. That is fantastic. But at Christmas time, I had no money. I couldn't even go into a $5 store or a dollar store or any of it just to get something for my child to open, because that's all she wants. She remembered Christmas from the previous year. And it made me feel horrible. You know, yes, we're around each other. Yes, we have a tree. But I'm like, this is not right. They deserve Christmas. And Adam was like, dude, don't worry about it. We've got gifts my kids never even opened. And he shipped them to us. So we spent, you know, what little money we could and added around it. And here you go. If it's not for the people around me, I wouldn't be where I am today, because we were 1 foot out the door of our house. We were days away from repossession. I don't know how many times my bank account was negative. I was like, what is this?
So you went from almost millionaire if you had not basically gotten screwed by your business partner.
Just in that one transaction alone, that would have been $1 million. And then subsequently, we found out information where it's $10 million. And discovery, I believe, was due on Monday, but then it got pushed. So I'm waiting for word for when that comes in. And then we'll have a real idea of where we've been sitting since April of last year.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you know, we're talking 10 plus figures at least. At minimum, at very minimum, is where we should be. And it's bothersome, not because of everything we went through. It's because, first and foremost, I trusted someone that I believed was my friend. And to this day, all the evidence is pointing to he was duped. However, what I've seen of the conglomerate group together is $16,000 a night hotels, Lamborghinis, Ferraris, you know, plane trips to Hawaii, back to the East Coast in 2 days and back, and emails about equipment that they bought to expand their company with the money that they've received on our benefit. So that's what's disheartening to me, because you know what? At the end of the day, I did feel like crap because of all those life situations I went through. But I just went through it. I navigated the waters on it. And it was difficult, but it was just a hard solvable problem that I fixed and made it through. The hard part for me is to watch these people live a life that I've dreamed of, whether it's from things for myself and family or charitable givings and offerings to other people. Because we did do that when COVID came around, when we thought we were still okay. We donated food and water. I mean, we enjoy that. And then we couldn't do it for ourselves. We couldn't do anything. And so it's hard to watch other people make decisions with things that you earned.
Especially unethically spending it.
I mean,
the money that you should have.
Yeah, they have their own issues now, you know, because of the character that they have. Multiple investigations, it sounds like. So
yeah,
I'm confident that they're going to get theirs in the end, like a karma situation or whatever. The good guy will win. But, you know, at the end of the day, sometimes I hate being the guy that went through that. But then when you talk to anybody who has achieved what nobody ever has, they all have a similar story to that. So I think that's what had to happen for me to learn negotiation skills, to learn, you know, feelings inside of something's not right. to get motivation to spend my last dollar to join the mastermind, to forward my skills, enhance my network, just be a sponge to everybody. I mean, I've learned so much from you guys. I mean, you have no idea.
What made you, what was it in your mind? What was going through your mind of like, you know, I can't, or, you know, I can't give up. You just kept pushing.
You know, I'm glad you asked that. And I was going to show you, and it's, you know, I just hit my phone, and because look, I have more bad days than good. I mean, I fell back into a day of I couldn't get out of the bed the other day, and it's been months. And I was like, why is this happening? And so even on those days, worst of the worst or just a bad day, you know, I do this and I go, it sucks, but it's just a math problem, right? You just 1 + 1 is 2, navigate it and get through it. And that's really how I've done it. My family needs me. They're counting on me. They have nobody else to rely on. And they believe in me like nobody else does. You know, there's an extra special something there, more than just like, hey, I've seen what you've accomplished and wow, that's amazing. I mean, it's because to me, it's my life. It's just life. It's extreme hardships as a young age, living in a group home for a few years, you know, to really being on my own at 17, 18 years old, developing myself over time, making connections back then that have served me now in a great way, unbeknownst to me at the time. You know, all those things I think had to happen, but it's just my life. It's something I lived. It's there's nothing inside of me that's like, hey, you're greater. And so that's the hard part for me to grasp, because I was told that last night. I was told that I looked you up a lot to make sure I knew who I was speaking with. And you are an extraordinary person. And I was like, that's great to hear. And someday I will grasp that, because it is just my life. Problems I have that I have to get through. And the way to get through them is my network, right? So it's just my life. Here's my friends. Here's people I like talking to. Here's what they do. They can help you. Great. I want to pay you for that because I couldn't find them. Thank you so much.
What actions did you start taking and have been taking since all this mess happened and you went from high mountaintop to complete bottom in, you know, a short stint? What's transpired since then, and what actions have you taken?
Boy, I am a completely different person. I mean, so we're talking like rebuild like 101, like any car show you've seen on TV, stripped down, you know, all the dents banged out. I mean, all of it to a shiny, glossy coat. I've had to rebrand myself. I've had to create new social media. I've had to do all that. But the personal steps I've taken at home, in my office, I have had to become a structured individual. I thought I was a structured individual. I am not a structured individual. So I've learned how to successfully manage a calendar. And then I learned how to successfully manage 2 calendars. You know, so organization is my flaw and weakness, but man, have I gotten so much better. And that's how it's allowed me to accomplish what I'm doing. It's just task oriented for me.
Now building back to multi-million-dollar deals in the pipeline again in 12 months.
Last night, Katie and I are downstairs. I mean, we were up till 3 a.m. I mean, I had a call that went extremely well with somebody whose organization I was watching on TV. So it was a slap in the face to me, like, is this really happening? And I was just like, you remember that song, Doing $1 Million Deals from my iPhone? I was like, and because we used to joke, you know, it's because I hated iPhone first and foremost. I went from an Android to an iPhone, and I was that person that was like, nah. And then I fell in love with it. And then that song always said, and I was like, wouldn't that be hilarious? Doing $1 million deals for my iPhone. What the hell's that like? And so last night I dropped the phone and I was like, just doing $1 million deals for my iPhone. And I was like, how does I said, a good slogan is, how does a poor man have these type of connections? And because it's not, how does a poor man have them? Because just because I was financially low, I'm the happiest I've ever been. I'm meeting people who, are always looked at with some kind of ill-conceived way just because people don't know them. And they're great, wonderful people who would give you the shirt off their back.
Mm.
I mean, my life is exponentially greater just by being friendly with them. I mean, seriously, the information that people bounce back and forth gets you places in life, whether it's that day, a week, a month, you remember and go, oh, wait, this is the advice I was given. And it helps you from having a problem. I mean, it's a friendship. I'll bring you with me, not come work for me. And I really enjoy it.
What made you lead to the crazy decision of joining into a mastermind group and spending like the last of your dollars you had, risking it all, betting it all on yourself? And talk about that. And also, like, how did you get your partner on board with something like that? Our mastermind group is not cheap. That we're a part of.
Do we say what we spent? I mean, I'm okay with saying.
You don't have to say what you spent, okay. But I mean, is significant.
It was. Let me put it in terms like if I
all
was
in all, not even including the investment, but all the other investments around it that you end up making. I mean, you're putting 5 figures into a mastermind group.
I mean, previously, in my life, I held positions where I'd make $20 plus an hour, and we're talking giving an amount equal to almost 3 months of me making that and spending it nowhere. Like every ounce of my time there spent on the same amount of time over here.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was a very significant amount to me because I can understand time and feel time. Like it's such a big thing to me. So, how did we make that decision? Because when that money left, there was like that much cushion. And I was like, that's crazy. Like, how did I just drain all the way down? Because, well, what happened is I paid my last year off and all that. But so we had nothing left. And so, of course, Katie's like, I believe in you, but like, this is crazy. And I'm like, I believe in Brandon. I've known Brandon for years now. I attended one of his other groups that he had. We're at a point where it's either get kicked out of your home or do something that you've never done to achieve something you've never had. So if I don't change anything I've ever done, I'm never going to get out of where I'm at. So I decided, here's the last dollar I have. I believe in you. We're both from Iowa. So, if it don't work, I'm coming to see you and you can put me on a farm somewhere and I'll work. Right. And, all in. It's like when you go on Shark Tank and they go, what are you doing like for your job? And people say, well, I work here. I mean, come on. Like they want to know, are you like focused on this 100% of your time or not? Right. And that's what I've done. I've taken myself and I've bet on myself that I'll wake up every day and I'll go serve people the best that I can because I know I'll do that. I've done that my entire life.
I think that's an interesting one, is that a lot of people are scared to invest in themselves. They'd be like, dude, what? You're paying that amount of money for relationships? I mean, I don't get it. But it's not about the money. When you invest into yourself that way, the emotional investment in the action follows to create success because you got nowhere else to go. I mean, for most people who would do that. So I think it's the most important thing that anybody can do is invest in themselves before they look at Bitcoin and real estate and blah, blah, blah. Like, where do I put my money? Dude, put your money in yourself because that's going to pay you significantly higher ROI than anything.
Yeah, you can compound it down the road. I mean, I believe in what I do. I believe in the people I've met. Nobody's let me down. I'm open for business. I mean, it's that simple. And I'm going to wake up every day doing the very best that I can. And I'm a good problem solver. And it's a springboard. I mean, that's literally what it is. Like you said, you're at the bottom, and no matter what, the way is up. But the way that I found to go up is not where I ever was. It's a springboard to a different game. It's a different level. It's a different atmosphere. The positivity is amazing. People focus on the positivity because it is a mentally demanding job in any aspect. And so, sometimes I do take it personally when people don't get back to me, like CEOs or something. I'm like, what? Come on, this is great for you. But in all actuality, everyone is stressed out. Everyone has a lot of things on their plate to manage. Some of these people that we're dealing with are managing billion-dollar companies. I mean, it's a big deal. So everyone focuses on positivity, and I swear, if you can just add a little bit of positivity to your day, that's one piece of change that's going to take you off of that path. I mean, you need it. And so I'm very thankful to be here because I get to help people on a massive scale. And it's so cool. And I mean, with personal protective equipment, I don't know where else I could go and help 100,000 people at one time. We have deals right now that are working in South Africa. We just had products registered there. I live in the United States. I've only been down to Mexico. I enjoy it, but
We got to get you out of Farmville, man.
Oh my gosh. I have a video from yesterday. Nothing but farms. I drove for an hour. Nothing but farms. I got to go.
Got to get you to see the world.
So, I love it. I wouldn't trade it for anything. Hardship is almost over. I know that. And I believe that everybody is capable of going through what I've been through and surviving. They just have to see in themselves. Mm-hmm. They have to understand that. And the fear is real. If you can combat the fear, you can do anything, because
there is nothing that's not irreversible or overcomable. Is that the right way to say it? Overcomable. Yeah, that's right. I think that's a word.
You're close.
So dude, in the last few minutes we have here, in 60 seconds, give us your best strategies and tips on the business development side of things. What's working for you? What's not working for you? Touch on that a bit. 4 big deals.
Okay. Being myself. And this is not another just be yourself speech. This is feedback I received from one of the biggest deals that I've ever heard of. And that's going to be amazing. With one of the best companies out there. Be yourself, because that's what got me in the door. Be yourself because that's what continued the conversation. Be yourself because that's who they want to meet for lunch after they sign the contract. Be yourself because that's who they would like to bring over to a Christmas party or what have you, right? Because at the end of the day, people buy from people. So people at the heart are just looking for others like them. And they see people in suits every day. Everyone's always got something to sell them. They can always change their world in a miraculous way. Just give me a little bit of money. And so you have to distinguish yourself. One line that I was told is, I love working with you. And I said, why? Because you are Josh that comes to work in shorts and a t-shirt. And I see suits every day. And ever since that, I've taken it to heart. You got to be yourself, and it will open doors that you've never had. I've had a phone call last night at 11 o'clock with a gal named Manel. She is a very wonderful person. I can tell we're going to be great friends down the road. We hit it off, talked for a very long time. That opportunity is very, very large, and it came from being myself. Yes, I have things to offer, and I'm not scary to approach. I'm not put off by Josh's persona. They see my family on LinkedIn a little bit. They see my business capabilities. They see that I want to get down to work and then be friends right there at the finish line and continue a relationship. That's my best suggestion. That's my best tip, because at the end of the day, When your tire's flat, what happens? People help you. Well, at the end of the day, if you're having a problem in business, your friends are going to guide you. Be yourself.
Joshua, I love that, man. Thank you for sharing openly and honestly, no matter how difficult it is. I think it's very important. And I can guarantee you at least one person has changed their entire mindset just listening into this. So that's because of you. What's the best way for people to find you, follow you, get into contact with you?
Sure. They can find me at joshuajgumbiner.com. My email address, my phone number, everything is right there. Feel free to reach out via email. You can shoot me a text message. You can get on my calendar at calendly.com/JoshuaJGumbiner. And I'm always available to hear about business.
Love it, man. All right, bro. Stick around for one quick second. Guys, make sure you go connect. That was a powerful story. And I mean, every time I hear it, I get chills, I get excited, I get motivated, and I hope you found the same thing. Make sure you go subscribe on all your favorite podcast apps. Look up B2B Mentors. We have lots of other great episodes. We're doing a lot of daily dose episodes coming up here in the future. So make sure you're subscribed for that as well. With that, my friends, make it great. Have an awesome Monday. Mondays for the mentors. Go find yourself some mentors. Change your life. Get invested into yourself. And I'll see you on the other side.
Yeah.